Hello, welcome to the RAA in-person meeting. We are so glad you're here. We're so glad we're here. This has been a long time coming, and I hope that you'll find that it was worth the wait. A couple of housekeeping items to go over before we begin. You won't be shocked in 2021 to know we want to talk about some health and safety protocols. We recognize you'll need to take your mask off to eat and drink and speak, but otherwise we ask that you follow our venue's DC mandated COVID protocols and mask up when not actively eating or drinking or speaking at a microphone. Before we go on, I want to thank each of our 3 presenting sponsors, without whom we could not have held this conference: Embraer, MHI RJ, and GE Aviation. Thank you so much. On a very personal note, the past 18 months have been some of our most difficult. We've had members cease operations. Our friends and colleagues lost their jobs. At some point, we didn't know what our industry was going to look like on the other side. And I was sending out some of the most difficult communications that I've ever written in my career. And so many of you wrote back, and you sent messages encouraging us, encouraging our team, thanking us for what we were doing, just sharing that spirit of camaraderie that makes this industry what it is. We are a family, and we proved that last year, and that's part of the reason that it was so important to us to preserve this in-person event and to hold this meeting. So I want to thank each of you for being here, and all of our sponsors. You are all part of our family. You're all part of this event, and you're the reason that we're doing it. We'll be hearing from a number of prestigious speakers over the next couple of days, mostly live, but at times they'll be Zooming in. We're still in 2021 after all. And speaking of Zooming in, I'd like to recognize 2 very special people. First is RAA's immediate past chair, Rick Leach. He's CEO of GoJet, and he chaired the association through some incredibly difficult times last year. There's an understatement. I never want to go through a pandemic without Rick by my side, but unfortunately we'll have to go through this conference without him. It wouldn't be 2021 if we didn't have somebody Zooming in. Rick, I know you're watching, so thank you so much for your service as chair, and we know that you'll be with us again the next time we meet in person. Now please join me in welcoming and congratulating our new chairman of the board, Dean Flannery. Dean leads American Airlines Group wholly owned subsidiary, PSA Airlines. Before that, Dean served as president of US Airways Express and VP Financial Analysis for US Airways. He has a bachelor's degree in advertising from the University of Texas and an MBA concentrating in finance from the University of Houston. Dean's played an integral role within the RAA, newly as chair, but for a long time as a committed board member. He's passionate about this industry, and we are thrilled to be working with him. It's a little bit of an RAA tradition to overwork our chair. So you're going to see a lot of Dean over the next couple of days. He'll be doing the fireside chat with me next. And following that, we'll have a panel with some of our CEO leaders. And we'll talk about the big picture industry trends. And then finally, later today, a panel on workforce. So make sure you have lots of water, Dean. But please join me in welcoming Dean Flannery. Now you can come up.
Thank you, Faye. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so great to see you all here. I will start by apologizing for the way I sound. It's not the sound system. I'm getting over a cold. I am COVID-free, tested twice last week, and vaccinated all the way through. So very glad to be here, very honored to serve as chairman this year and welcome you all to the Leaders Conference. Thanks again for attending. I'd like to also start by thanking Faye and the entire staff at RAA who've worked dutifully to make this happen. Against all odds, we are here, we're here together, and we're going to do some good things over the next couple of days. I also would like to acknowledge outgoing chair Rick Leach for all his service, for all his commitment. As Faye mentioned, he led at probably one of the most uncertain and challenging times the industry and the association have ever faced. He did it with presence and with purpose, and in his affable way was there for all of us, helping us charter a course through all the uncertainties as the pandemic presented itself, and the industry and all of us members together faced untold uncertainties and questions. So Rit, thank you for your service. Thank you for all of your efforts over the last couple of years, and best of luck. Yeah, that's appropriate. As well as with Faye, I'd like to thank our sponsors, and particularly our presenting sponsors, Embraer, MHI, RJ, and GE, who are sponsors at the diamond level. They're not only key sponsors of this conference, but they're also key industry participants. Their products and services drive our industry's health. And we've asked for each of them to share a few remarks with us today as we get started. First up, I would like to invite Mark Neely, who's Embraer's VP of Sales and Marketing for the Americas, to the stage. I'll introduce Mark. He is the Vice President of Commercial Aviation for the Americas. Mark leads his team's efforts of connecting people in the Americas through accessible and affordable air travel. With over 30 years of experience, he's been with Embraer for the last 11 years. And while at Embraer, he also served as a Regional Vice President of Sales in North America, responsible for launch orders of the E-Jets in the US and Canada. His previous experience includes former OEMs British Aerospace, Fairchild Dornier, ATR, and Continental Airlines. Please join me in welcoming Mark Neely to the stage.